Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the Ento podcast. I'm your host, Ross, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Are you listening to this show either in or after a gym session? Maybe you're on your run while you're listening to the show. If you are, then today's interview will be one you won't want to miss out on. We all know protein and fitness go hand in hand. Usually after a run or a session in the gym, I would grab a protein shake or blitz up my own shake at home. Ideally, my shakes would be made with cricket powder as my protein boost, as I try and stay away from whey and soy. But now the Ento industry has moved on, and today we're talking to Charlotte from Isaac Nutrition, and they're Europe's first powdered protein shake company. Don't forget to check out the transcript for today's show at theentopodcast.co.uk/Isaac. Don't forget to say hi to Charlotte and all the guys at Isaac Nutrition, and they can be found at their website, which is Isaac-Nutrition. That's ISAAC-nutrition.com. .de. On Instagram, they can be found at Isaac_Nutrition. So we'll say a big hi to Charlotte Binder from Isaac Nutrition. So, hi Charlotte, thanks for joining us today.
Hi Ross, thanks for having me.
No problem. So you guys are based over in Cologne, and
yes, exactly.
You do something slightly different to what most of the other insect guys do in Europe, and you've got an insect protein powder.
Yep, that's correct.
So what made you choose a protein powder over going down the normal entry route of protein bars that everyone seems to sort of jump on?
Yeah, that's a very good question. When we first got into the whole topic of eating insects and selling them as food, we thought a lot about what products we wanted to sell. And our initial idea also was a bar, because it's like a go-to product. It's something that people just grab really quickly off the shelves, and it's something that everybody can relate to. But we quickly found that it's quite hard to basically just make enough money with an insect bar, because you will have to have it in stores, and we didn't think that Germany was ready yet to have such products on the shelves in the supermarkets. So we researched a little bit more and found that the nutritional profile of insects fits very well to the needs of athletes. So we decided to develop a protein powder, so more focus on the functional advantages of insects as food, and bring that to the market.
Go that way. That's great. So Isaac Nutrition, is there three? So how did you guys get together? So are you sort of straight out of uni? Did you know each other as friends, traveling?
Yeah,
what?
We're friends. We've been friends since almost 6 or 7 years, I believe. And we went to university together. Tim then went on to finish his master's degree. I only did my bachelor's. And when we first got the idea to do Isaac in 2016, I believe it was, he was still in uni and I was still working. So it took a little time. And then from 2017 onwards, we've been doing it full time.
Wow. That's great. So were you in a sports background at uni, or was it a food based sort of?
I'm more of a food based and triathlon background, but only in my time. We both, or all three of us, studied business administration actually. But Tim is really into sports, and he used to have these huge whey protein bulk powder boxes in his kitchen, and I used to always say that I think it's so such a paradox that someone who spends a lot of time taking care of their body then goes on to eat garbage, basically, in order to help him or her with his or her training. And that's also something that we wanted to address with our products.
Yeah. So going back to the product, so the protein, this is when it gets a little bit complicated. So you've got because usually the few people sort of call the normal cricket powder or insect powder, insect protein powder, but now you've actually got an insect protein powder. So yeah, I'll try not to get too confused. So your protein powder base, again, you've gone left field. You haven't gone down the crickets or the mealworms,
Mhm.
you're using buffalo worms. Was there a
Yeah,
specific choice in those? Are there more sort of macronutrients in the buffalo worm compared to crickets, or did you just want to do a new product and do a new species to show that there's more variety than just crickets and cricket powder?
yeah, that's also a really good question. I mean, it's sort of well known that the cricket is sort of like the gateway bug,
Yeah.
and we always wanted to basically have a sustainable product. So we wanted to choose an insect and a farm which was as near as possible to where we are. And our the insect farm that we cooperate with is in the Netherlands, so it's like a 3-hour drive only from here.
Okay.
We can go visit them, and like the impact, the ecological impact of shipping the materials to us is not as big as if we sourced in, I don't know, Thailand or Vietnam.
Yes. Yeah.
And then also the nutritional value is really good, and their legal issues were easier to deal with when using insects that were reared in the EU. So we found that local authorities here in Germany were much more likely to be convinced by a product when they knew that the insects were reared in the EU and not like in Thailand or Vietnam, because the standards there, they just cannot be.
It's hard to sort of try and get the certification and sort of
Yes,
get the
exactly.
background checks for a lot of the Thai stuff.
Exactly. And also I feel personally that rearing insects, I mean, it doesn't raise as many ethical issues as, for example, like cattle rearing or pigs or chickens. But I also think that it's a little bit more justifiable to rear mealworms or buffalo worms than crickets and grasshoppers even. Because in nature, they hop around and they fly around, and worms, they love it. They love the dark, like really crowded and warm spaces, which they have on the farms.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way. For cricket, we get ours from Entomiew farms over in Canada.
Okay, yeah, it's a good one too.
Yeah, I know when I started, I did have a few issues with customs and trying to get the permits for it to come into the country, and then trying to show that it's a green sort of food source, and my carbon footprint's huge because I'm shipping these things in from Northern America.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, which is why we're looking at sort of farms closer to home.
Exactly. Yeah, but the whole industry here in Europe is still very small, so I think it's also okay to make a compromise in the beginning.
Yeah.
And once the word is out there and people are starting to realize that insects are actually can be a really healthy and sustainable source of food, then it will all grow, and eventually there will be more farms in Europe. I'm sure. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be, and it's one of those chicken and egg sort of situations.
Exactly.
Especially in the UK, we haven't got the farms because there's not the call for the products, but there's not the call for the products because it's too expensive because we haven't got the farms. But it'll sort itself out.
I hope so. Yeah.
Are there any issues with the materials that when you make it into the protein shake? So when you have the cricket powder, it doesn't sort of dissolve; it'll sort of stay in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have you formulated your process to have the proteins in the buffalo worms dissolve into the protein powder, into the protein shake?
No. So we spend
to our bodies.
So it's still the pretty much unprocessed insect powder, and it's non-soluble. So we spent a lot of time in the laboratory just figuring out how to make a shake without having the little tiny particles of worm basically floating around or like sinking down to the bottom of the glass or like swimming upwards to the surface.
Yeah.
And it took us a long time, but we managed. And of course, the farmer that we're working with, they are also researching and looking into protein isolate that then will be soluble. But until then, we are sort of working around these problems. And that's also why we only use 15% of insect in our protein powder. The rest is pea protein and sunflower protein.
Okay.
Because the pure flour is just too fatty for our use case, basically. Because athletes, they don't want to mix proteins with fat. And if you put more insect, there will be too much fat in one portion of, one shake.
Okay.
For them to be functional, yeah.
And was there a reason for going down the sort of pea and hemp protein? Was it just the issues with soy, or?
No, there was a reason. We wanted to imitate the amino acid profile of whey protein. Okay. So I don't know how familiar your listeners are with the nutritional details and the biochemical processes of protein synthesis. But just really quickly, so proteins are made up of different amino acids, and they have to be they have to have a certain structure for the human body to synthesize them and to work with them. And we just wanted to imitate the whey protein amino acid profile, because that is said to be the best one for the human body. Okay. That can be most easily digested and synthesized, and is just very efficient. So if you just eat pea protein, for example, your body will not be able to get all of the protein that it needs or that it would take out of it, just because there are some amino acids missing. Yeah. And we basically just set up a mathematical optimization problem. It's really unsexy, but it worked. And we got different combinations of plant and insect protein that would give us the same amino acid profile as the whey. And this is the one we chose because it worked best for taste and mouthfeel and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether it was, again, down to ecological reasons. I know that soy is getting a bad rap because there's a lot of...
To avoid soy at all costs, that's true. Yeah. So it wasn't even in the mathematical problem. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's fantastic. So has the German government been sort of helpful in there? Because I know that you've got some, you had some help from the one of the ministries. And are they a little stricter on guidelines for insect-based products?
Yes, they're very strict. So as you all probably know, insects have not been allowed in Germany, especially before 2018. Yeah. And even then... it still is a little bit of a hassle, and we have to put in this extra work to reassure the authorities that our product is safe. We haven't had any complaints or anything, and we've handed in all the certifications, but I have to say that the authorities are having a very, very close watch on what we're doing.
Let's see what's happening.
I'd say closer than other startups working with food or nutrition or supplements. Yeah.
But to be honest, you got strict guidelines on the beer manufacturing out there, and it does make your beer taste very, very nice. So hopefully they'll be a little lenient.
It's going to be the same for our products. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they can be a bit of a hindrance, but occasionally they're there for a good reason.
Yes, and so far we've been able to take all of the hurdles, and so we're good.
Oh, that's good. So you say you did sort of triathlons, and you're working with athletes. Are you going down an ambassador route to sort of try and promote your products and are you doing that in just Germany, or are you going Austria? Because you're based Cologne, I believe.
Yes, we're based in Cologne, and we sell our product in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. And so far we've been focusing a lot on the CrossFit industry.
Okay.
I don't know if you know CrossFit.
Yes, yeah.
But it's quite promising because it's a very intense sport, and the community is really tight, and they talk a lot to each other. And so if you get in there, it's quite easy to get the word spreaded about your product.
Oh, it makes it easier to...
Yeah, exactly. And people are very open too. So we find that it always takes a little bit more communication for our product than like a standard whey protein, of course.
Yeah.
But as long as people are open and curious, most of them we can convince with our ecological or functional arguments. So we're focusing on CrossFit, but we are also looking into other sports like bouldering, yoga, swimming, triathlon, and then some team sports like volleyball and football. But this is just like a small percentage.
I mean, yeah. For the protein, it'll be so mainly the gyms, and CrossFit's a good way to go because it's huge.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like you say, they do like their WODs, and they do like to chat to each other.
Yes, yes, and they always are trying to get this extra edge, on their training, and to get the newest and most innovative stuff that will get them ahead of their peers. So it's quite nice to work with those people.
Fantastic. You do the buffalo protein powder, shake powder. You do the milled buffalo worms. Are you just focusing on getting the protein powder out, and do you do different flavors, or are you happy with the way you've got it set up now and looking to branch out into other products?
No, we launched 2 additional flavors in December. So our cocoa and our coconut flavors are quite new. And we will be getting a new form of packaging in February, which we are really excited about because it will be a really beautiful box and not these doi packs anymore that everyone uses and that are so hard to handle and just super annoying.
They're a pain to fill.
Yes, they are. And they look hideous once you ship them. They get wrinkles and it's just a pain. So we're really happy that we'll be getting these new packaging, which will be like round tubes that you maybe know from, I think, spirits and liquors. They are really often come in those boxes. So we will be focusing on getting those out from February onwards, and then there are some new products in the pipeline for maybe June, July of this year.
Keep the ball rolling and have something new for later on this year.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we're really excited.
So prior to starting in Isaac, had you eaten insects before, so maybe on travels, or was this a whole new experience? And what got you into the insects as a protein?
After I did my bachelor's, I traveled around Asia, so I came in contact with insects as food there. But it didn't really make such a big impression on me, to be honest. It was only when I came back and started working and I read an article about a German farmer who rears insects for feed.
Okay.
So he rears like soldier fly, I believe, as pig and fish feed. And he was talking about the ecological advantages of using insects, but he was also saying that it's actually really inefficient to feed insects to animals to then eat the animals, that it would be much more efficient to just eat the insects directly. And this sort of made an impression on me. And I started talking about it to Tim, and then there was this problem with him using these really, just
the bad protein.
Weird products like low quality, cheap whey protein.
Yeah.
And we saw that there was a demand in the market for like new, innovative, fun sports nutrition that also could have a positive ecological impact. So that's when we started the company.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So if people were interested in trying your protein powder, so Isaac, you were saying you were in Germany and Austria. Are you in stores out there, or is it just through your online? Have you got an online store, or are you in health foods shops around those areas?
So we mainly sell via our online shop, but we are also present on Amazon, and you can find us on Amazon UK, in Spain, Italy, and France as well. So if anyone of your listeners is interested, they can find our products there. And otherwise, there are some fitness studios, especially CrossFit studios, that sell our products in Germany and Austria as well.
So if they go to isaac-nutrition.de, then they'll be able to buy them directly from you, and or there's Amazon, and I'm presuming you just search under Isaac, but I'll put links to the UK ones and the other Amazon stores. And for the UK listeners, if you want to try these products, I'd probably get a move on and get them before March, before we find out sort of whether we end up having to pay extra duty or what have you for products coming in from outside the UK.
Yeah, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, it's interesting times, I think, is the Chinese phrase. But no, thank you very much to Charlotte. So the listeners can find you at isaac-nutrition.ie. They can follow you on Instagram in your Isaac_nutrition and Facebook at Isaac Nutrition. I'll put links to all of those and to the website on the show notes. But thanks very much, Charlotte Binder from Isaac Nutrition, for chatting to us today.
Thank you very much, Ross.
Well, that was a great interview. And thanks so much for Charlotte Bingham from Isaac Nutrition for spending time to come and chat to us about their product. Don't forget to check them out at isaac-nutrition.com or DE if you're a German speaker. And hop on over to Amazon to try some of their product. And as always, there'll be links to everything we've discussed in the show notes, and they can be found at theentopodcast.co.uk/Isaac. So till the next time, this is Ross saying ta-ra for now.
Thanks so much for listening to the Ento Podcast. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit theentopodcast.co.uk and on Facebook and Twitter at the Ento Podcast. We'll catch you next time.